Good evening, everyone. DSP here, and welcome to the Daily Wrap for what was the final day of my streaming week for this week, Thursday, the 9th of April, 2026. And if you're wondering, wait, it's only Thursday, why is it your final streaming day? Taking an extra day off to spend some time with my wife to celebrate my wedding anniversary. So, let's talk about today, because today was certainly an interesting day, being that it was the final day of the week and a double new release day. Today, I tried out both the Invincible versus Open Beta on PlayStation 5, and I tried out Pokemon Champions on the Switch 2. But before we got to either of those, I had a special morning show. Today, I talked about in detail my history with Street Fighter 6 over the last 3 years, and why I'm finally done with the game, and also any conditions for which a reason why I would return to it if I so choose. So if you're interested in that, if you've enjoyed my Street Fighter 6 coverage for the last 3 years, and you want to know my rationale and what's going on, check out the morning show, okay? Then, after the morning show, we jumped into Invincible Versus on PlayStation 5. Allow me to summarize my thoughts about this game. The graphics, they're okay. They kind of look like a stylized comic book, maybe a little bit like the show, maybe not. In fact, I actually think the game has more lighting effects than the actual animation of the show, which in my opinion is kind of not that good, just being honest. It has a selection of about, I want to say like 10 fighters. I could be wrong, but I thought it was around 10 fighters for this open beta. It's a 3v3 tag in, tag out fighting game. So right off the bat, you might say, oh, so it's like Marvel vs. Capcom 3, right? Yes and no. It's the same premise, where you can do kind of basic dial combos of light, medium, heavy, into a special move, into a super move. Similar to Marvel 3, you could do that, okay? Yes, you can tag in and out on the fly to extend combos, just like you could do in other fighting games, okay? However, this game, I would have to say, is probably the most basic fighting game I've ever played in my life, even though it tries to be complex. What do I mean by that? Well, the game has all the mechanics of, say, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and 3. It's got timed tags in and out. It's got timed reversals where you can block and reverse and break out, or push blocks to push an offensive attack backwards after a block. It's got the ability to stun an enemy and then snap them back, meaning you could snap them out and have the other teammate come in who maybe has lower health. It even has stage transitions, similar to the Injustice series, although I'll tell you this, they're insanely basic in this game and barely do anything, so I don't know why they're even present, to be frank. But even though it has all that complexity, when it comes down to it, the game is incredibly simple. Here's how the game is played. You either run away throwing fireballs the entire time and have your assist keep people away, or you dash in and you mash the light attack button, which does an auto combo. While it's auto comboing, if it hits, you do a big combo, which you can then cancel into a special move or super, or you can launch during the combo, like in Marvel vs. Capcom, and you can do an aerial combo, okay? Now, here's the catch, okay? If you block, the enemy can decide to call out an assist, which keeps you blocking. Then they can continuously mash light attack a second time. Then they can call out their second assist, which keeps you blocking. Then they can continuously mash light attack a third time, and by then, their first assist already has recharged, and they can do it again. So essentially, it's whoever gets the first hit, you have to keep attacking, and then the other person eventually has to use one of the defensive maneuvers to push them back or knock them away. It's insanely basic. And you might say, well, there's got to be more to it. There it isn't. That's actually the basic gameplay of this game. Now, while you're doing a combo, you have the ability to tag out and have a partner come in during a combo and extend the combo. So I could do a bunch of hits, combo, tag in my second partner, bunch of hits, combo, tag in the third partner, bunch of hits, combo, super, wow, you're dead. You can actually do, I believe, around 60 to 70% damage on one person in one combo in this game. However, every time that you tag someone in, a mini game begins, because every time that you tag someone in, the opponent has the ability to press 2 buttons timed perfectly to bounce the tag back and stop the combo. Now, what you can do is tag in and stagger, So now you force them to try to counter and miss, and then you can punish them. So essentially the game is either mashing light attack while pressing tag and hoping for a hit, or, hey, how do I interrupt their tag when they're doing it during a combo? That's the whole game. There's no real zoning. There's no real footsies. There's no real neutral. It's just a bunch of mashing buttons, throwing out assists to keep people locked down, and then tagging in and out and stopping the tagging in and out during combos. That's all that there is to Invincible Versus. The beta was glitched today. I don't know if they fixed it, but basically the ranked play, which was all that was available for online play, didn't work. You would play a match. It would say, oh, your placement match went through, and then it would delete your result and you'd start over. So the matchmaking didn't work and you couldn't match with anyone of a skill level. So I kept playing people who hadn't played at all. And I had a string of like 18 to 19 wins before I finally played against someone who knew the meta, which is mash light attack and assist together the entire round. And they decimated me because that's ass and it's not supposed to be a fighting game's way to play. And I was trying to do things like the reversal and stuff, and they wouldn't come out in the lag. So I just got destroyed. And that was my experience. So today I played 3 hours. First half hour, I just went into tutorial mode and learned the basics. Tried one team, which I think was like Adam Eve, Robot, and Monster Girl. Played them for like an hour. Basically never lost. Then I swapped to a different team, which was, let's see, Alan the Alien, Omni-Man, and I forgot the woman's name, the woman who has the blade on her hair. Okay? And I proceeded to win for another hour until finally I ran into the one person who knew how to play, and they beat me twice. And then the last match was someone who kind of knew how to play, and we went back and forth, and I won the set, and that was it. Did I have fun at any point during the game? Only maybe the first 1 or 2 matches when I was learning the combo system to do air combos and super cancel. And then after that, it wasn't fun ever again. It was insanely freaking boring because it's massively repetitive. The game has the same voice lines every single time you do a special move. So you just keep hearing the same thing over and over and over, and it's incredibly repetitive and boring. They didn't even record multiple voice lines for special moves. And quite frankly, I think the game is an embarrassment. I actually think that if this is where fighting games are going, if it's meant to be mindless, mash one button and then assist, and mash a button and assist, hope for a hit. If you get a hit, mini game for tagging, and then everyone mash again and hope someone hits someone. It's complete garbage. This is not what fighting games are supposed to be. To be honest with you, I wouldn't even call Invincible Versus a fighting game. It's not. It's a game for brainless idiots who just want to mash buttons and see flashy moves. That's it. The game sucks. I'm sorry. It really is a terribly designed game. And I don't mean, oh, the ranking system didn't work, the matchmaking didn't work. No, the game sucks. The actual game engine is horrendous for what they're thinking is going to be a competitive fighting game. It's not. It's trash tier gameplay. So after playing it this one stream, and I like I said, I won like 20, 25 matches, and I only lost like 2 or 3. I was like, I don't want to play this ever again. I'm not buying it at the end of April. There's no way I'm wasting time and money on this thing. That is an atrocity, and it should have never been made, because here's the problem. Let's say that sells. Well, then every game developer is going to be like, oh, we just have to make really mindless, dumbed-down mashing games for idiots because that's what sells. So real fighting games will go away. And instead, we'll just have everyone having to play these shitty games. That game is bad. I don't recommend it. You can judge for yourself and watch the footage. I think it was terrible. I would not recommend it, nor would I play it again. And before you say, oh, well, you didn't get a lot of support for it, that's why you don't like it, I did like $125. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I would have gladly played it again if it was good. It's not good. I'm not playing it again. Okay? Tonight we played Pokemon Champions. Pokemon Champions is a game where essentially you just recruit random Pokemon. Okay, what happens is you go to a farm and you can see, I think it's like 6 or 8 Pokemon, and you pick one, you add them to your team. You create a team of 6 Pokemon, and then you just do online battles against other humans. That's the whole game. Now, yes, you can change the Pokemon attacks and abilities. You can actually mess with the stats. And the way you do is through VR points. And these points you earn by playing the game. So the more matches you play, the more matches you win, you earn the points. This lets you recruit more Pokemon and also customize the Pokemon. Okay? Apparently, you can also customize your avatar and many other things. So the battles are 3v3. There are double battles as well, but I only did the 3v3 single battles. So you have to be strategic. You want to get a spread of Pokemon that basically cover a whole bunch of elements or weaknesses, and that way, hopefully, you always have a Pokemon for almost every situation, although it's not really possible with only 3 Pokemon on a team. I played it for about 2 hours, a little over 2 hours tonight. At first, I was like, there's nothing to it. But then what happened is I kind of got addicted. I got addicted to the formula of, well, if you play this game, it really makes you master Pokemon. You really have to understand all the elemental weaknesses and strengths. You have to understand speed and turns. You have to understand the actual special attack versus regular attacks. And that's all stuff that in recent Pokemon games, you didn't need to know at all. Seriously, I just played all of Pokemon Legends ZA. I barely ever used it. Yes, maybe just the basic elemental weaknesses, but all that other stuff was thrown out the window. And I've actually said recently with Pokemon Fire Red, I very much enjoyed going back to turn-based style where all that stuff mattered again. And that's actually what this game feels like. Now, the graphics, they're not great. They're okay, but they're 30 frames per second. Being that you literally never walk around anywhere, it's all menus. It's literally a game meant to play on this device, your phone. It doesn't really matter that it runs at 30 frames per second. It's fine, okay? Is it a gacha game? Yes. If you spend money to buy the tickets or VR currency, you can endlessly pull until you feel like you get the best Pokemon. But I feel like what most people did is they went to their previous Pokemon games and they imported Pokemon from that Pokemon Home app. So most people have overpowered Pokemon anyway. Tonight, I fought someone who had an entire team of Shinies, and then I fought someone who had an entire team of all of the evolutions of Eevee. Okay? Now, is it RNG? Yeah, because the thing is, you might have 6 Pokemon to choose from to start your team of 3 any match, and oops, I don't have the Pokemon that'll counter the other team. Or maybe you pick 3 out of the 6 and you just had bad luck, and the other team has the weakness that you're weak to, and you have nothing to fight it with. So it is RNG. There's not much you can really do, but knowledge of Pokemon does make the game better. It has a soundtrack of all these old Pokemon games, which is really cool. Every fight, it was playing different Pokemon music from different Pokemon games. That was nice. And the connections were fine. Like, to be honest, I think it's a solid game for those who like Pokemon and just want to do, like, competitive battles against people. Because, honestly, you can't do that with Fire Red, which just came out. It has no online play. So this is a way to actually get your fix of competitive Pokemon. And as long as you're importing your Pokemon from other games and not overspending, it's not really a rip-off gacha game. I could probably play this completely for free and never spend $1, and I'd be happy. By the end of the night, I had started at the beginning, and I was already up to rank 2 of, I think it's like the regular Pokeball League. Now, I think the game has like tons of leagues and everything, but I think I had won way more than I had lost, and I was having a good time, and the audience actually was also having a good time. But guess what? The support was abysmal. By the end of the night, I'm not kidding, I had $50 of support. And we had like 10 minutes left. And then out of nowhere, someone who had been supporting me earlier in the week as a result of Asmongold being banned and they needed someone to watch, came by and said, I'm actually supporting your stream tonight, but it has nothing to do with Pokemon. I just wanted to support. So I got a ton of support at the end of the stream. But that's not representative of the game. And I think the problem is right now, I'm already playing Fire Red. If I wasn't playing Fire Red, maybe Pokemon fans would like this game. In fact, you can immediately customize and name the Pokemon that you recruit in this game, which is one of the things people really like to do. They want to name Pokemon that I catch. The problem is in Fire Red, you can't plan ahead. You can't really do it easily. Now I do have the ability to rename the Pokemon in Fire Red, but it just hasn't been a thing. In the modern Pokemon games, it is, and this game has that. But I can't in good conscience be like, hey, I'm going to play this right now because I'm already playing Fire Red. I can't play 2 Pokemon games simultaneously. So I'm kind of on the fence about what to do because personally, I enjoyed it. And I'm curious if people would like to maybe see it again in the future. But attendance was good, engagement was good, but support was just bad for the game. Yes, overall, the stream got supported, but not because of the game, right? So what do you guys think? I'd like to hear feedback on this. Would you ever like to see Pokemon Champions again? Or are we done with it? Would you come by and engage and support it if I played it? Or should we dump it? I don't know. For me, I enjoyed my time with it, but I'm not going to stream this game again if no one really cares. Okay? Give it all a look. Leave me your feedback. Leave comments on both the Invincible Versus and the Pokemon videos, and let me know what you think. I'm very curious what you're going to say about them, and I have a couple of days off to read your comments, all right? I will be back on Sunday. What can you expect on Sunday? Well, you can expect a Level 1 podcast. You can expect the continuation of Dragon Quest VII and RimWorld, the second run, where we're going to start a brand new group and we're going to do DLC and maybe some actual mods as well. We'll see. Okay? So come on back on Sunday. It's going to be a full 6 days of streaming next week. We're pushing forward with all of our playthroughs. We're going to try to finish a couple of them, like Dragon Quest notably. And at the end of the week, we got Pragmata and Mouse PI for Hire, both 2 new releases that we'll be checking out together. All right, guys? All right. And I may have a surprise for you over the next day or two. We'll see. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you all Sunday. Good night and peace out. Bye-bye.